All right, family. We black once again. It's on with the general. We got a powerful presentation today. The 10 greatest pharaohs of ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. This is going to be one powerful presentation. Buckle in, family. Before we get started, I want y'all to make sure you get over to my Patreon, General Seti. The link is at the over five that you cannot find anywhere else on the planet. And we talking about the popping this Patreon page out there. Check it out, family. Also, I want you to get over to kingseti.com online marketplace, official General Seti products, t-shirts, hoodies, DVDs, classic DVDs over 50. You cannot see these anywhere else. Also, we got African and Kemetic jewelry. Get you something, family. Get you something fly, extraordinary. We got you. Make sure you check out becoming a member of my page, General Seti, Pharaohs Seti. The link is on the home page. You get all type of perks. You get access to exclusive videos. It's there for your family. Check it out and make sure you get a video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends. Comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because you will. You be up out of here. Boo. Here we go, family. The 10 greatest pharaohs of all time. Now, for some, it could be clear cut. It's not always that clear cut with me. Like they say, because you're talking about 3,000 years of extraordinary leaders. You see, of extraordinary leaders, but we gonna try to narrow it down the best we can, and let's start at the top, family. Let's start at the top. Number one, we're gonna start number one, Ramesses II, Ramesses the Great, and it's hard to argue that one. It's hard to argue that one. You know, he's the second. Was he the third pharaoh? The third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. I believe his grandfather Ramesses I was the first. Seti was the second, and Ramesses II, Ramesses the Great, was the third. We're talking about the 19th dynasty, longest reign. He ruled for 66 years. Massive building projects, Abu Simbel, Ramesses. See, you know, them things that Ramesses, where he built so massively. You know, they couldn't move. Like some pharaohs, they build statues and things, and you can move them to the museum. Wherever you found something from that was built by Ramesses, they had to build a museum right there where they found, because it was so damn heavy that they couldn't even move. It was best to just go on and build a museum right over the artifact. That's how large Ramesses built. And so Abu Simbel, and I don't have all the well, I do have some of the but I'll tap in at a different time. I got my lectures. I'm tightening them up. The visuals is outstanding. You can believe it. And so we're going to really start tapping in a minute. But massive build fought the Hittites at Kadesh, turned royal propaganda into art form, benchmark for kingship. So, you know, again, when you talk about Ramesses, and he came after, the 18th dynasty, his father Seti Seti I, he tried to clean up a lot of the things that was going wrong in the 18th dynasty. You know, the 18th dynasty, you had a lot of great pharaohs and things of that nature, but you had some things, they was so rich that they went to getting a little weird up in there. And so Seti and Ramesses I and Ramesses II came after the 18th dynasty, where they began to sway again from those foundational Kushite customs. And so Seti brought it back, and Ramesses, being his son, brought it back into alignment with the divine culture from the ancients. You see, had to tap back in. Now, number two, they have Djoser. Djoser of the third dynasty. And that's, and Djoser, again, you talking about monumental. I can't argue with that because his reign was so significant, because that's where, you talking about the pyramid age began with Djoser, and so and for the first time on the planet, we start reaching to the sky with skyscrapers for real, dealing with stone masonry, and this is where where they say masonry, this is where it comes into existence for real, documented. So he built a step pyramid, a Saqqara, first monumental stone architecture in history. First monumental stone architecture in history established divine kingship in stone. You see, so we start, so when you start talking about the square, the plumb line, the level, and all of these things that masons use, and what they use today, scrolls with the blueprints on them, and man aspiring to ascend the stairway to heaven, the Jacob's ladder, and all of these things. These is esoterical archetypes of the step pyramid, you see. And so Djoser is the father of pyramid building, and without any doubt, I would not argue number one and number two. I wouldn't argue those. You feel me? Even if you could find another Pharaoh that, but you cannot, when you're talking about Djoser, you can't speak to no other great pyramid without first speaking to the pyramid of Saqqara. Number three, Khufu. Khufu, Dynasty 4, builder of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Got to have no argument with that. Don't have no argument with that, because why would you? You're looking at the most awe-inspiring structure on the planet. You're talking about the most awe-inspiring structure on the planet by far. There is no comparison. And so builder of the Great Pyramid, greatest engineering feat of the ancient world. Pyramid aligned with cosmic precision, builder of eternity. So Khufu didn't, he intended for this monument to exist for eternity. He intended for it to, and so he built with a skill and precision that make people think that aliens, they say, goddamn it, no man could do this. Denying African genius, but the reality it was that this African Khufu built the greatest engineering feat of the ancient world, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. I can't argue with number three. Senusret III, okay, Dynasty 2, warrior king, expanded into Nubia, reorganized government and weakened nobility, deified during his lifetime, model of Middle Kingdom power. And Senusret is, he was a great conqueror. And the Greeks referred to him as Sesostris. And so they said that he had established Athens in Greece. He established a lot of them areas, that's why I tap into some of them scrolls, that they, these Greeks were writing, because they recognized the fact of how these pharaohs went out and established the Greece and the Romes and in the Indias and the Mesopotamias. You see, it was many of these great pharaohs that did that. And so Senusret III most definitely, I have no argument. Now, whether I would have put him at number 4 is not, it really don't matter. You see, because he deserves to be in the top 10 without any doubt. And so I'm not going to argue the Senusret. And matter of fact, I tap back in. I'm gonna be tapping into the Pharaohs. We're gonna be highlighting the greatest pharaohs one by one of ancient Egypt, and so we're gonna have time to really tap in real soon. So stay tuned. Number 5, Thutmose the III. Okay, Dynasty 18, Egypt's greatest military conqueror. Cannot argue with that. I cannot argue with that one. Thutmose III most definitely was Egypt. Never lost. He was cracking heads from. I mean, everywhere he went, people was crying out for mercy, and a lot of times he didn't show mercy. This was at a point where Egypt had been violated by foreigners, and the Kemetic Kushite coalition was making people pay for that desecration. And so they was making damn near everything from up in Turkey down into the Levant, all the way down into Lower Arabia, even into Nubia. And so a lot of those temples in Nubia were built during the time of Thutmose the third, and I'm quite sure Napata was one of those cities. I believe Napata was also one of them cities that was established by Thutmose the third. So he expanded empire into Nubia, from Nubia to Syria, over 17 successful campaigns. And here it is. They call him, which is a cheat. They try to call him the Napoleon of Egypt, and so we would never do no shit like that. I wouldn't even be. Napoleon couldn't compare to Thutmose if he died and came back 1,000 times. You see, so we won't even do that. But Thutmose is the third, most definitely. And take your time. You could tap back into these pharaohs, these 10 alone, and just tap in. When you get a chance. Amenhotep III, Dynasty 18. Now Amenhotep, I have no argument with that. Most definitely one of the greatest pharaohs, and outside of Ramesses II, he put more stone on this planet. The only other person I think we could argue is Sneferu, who put 3 pyramids. But you talking about Ramesses, Amenhotep III probably put more stone on the planet. Them 3 rulers. I don't know which one. I think Ramesses, came after Amenhotep III, but Amenhotep III he was like Ramesses before when it came to the temples everywhere, statues everywhere. He just built wherever he could. He was just all over the place. You see, from Lower Egypt up into Nubia, he built everywhere and on a massive scale too. You see, and so Amenhotep III was the blueprint for Ramesses II on how he, and Seti and how they came after Amenhotep III. And they say, oh, this is, and we'll talk about Amenhotep because they consider Amenhotep and Queen T to be the 2 rulers that rule at the height of not just in the 18th dynasty, the height of the 18th dynasty. Egypt was its richest. It wasn't at war. Its hand was reaching all over the planet. You see, so this was they were just wealthy, just beyond imagination. That's why they could build everywhere, anywhere they wanted, and their hand could reach all over the planet. You see, their hand could. So he ruled during Egypt's golden age, and I don't know, the 3rd golden age, because it was more than one golden age. Diplomatic empire, immense wealth, built Luxor temple, colossi of Memnon, king as a living god. Okay. 7. Seti I. Dynasty 19. My spiritual father, Seti I, restored Egypt after Amarna chaos. So after Akhenaten and all of that crazy shit that they was doing, they went up in there and disrespected thousands of years of traditions. You understand? And you know, tore down, you know, ancient culture and deities and goddesses. Seti came and restored it because the people was asking for it. It ain't like the people say, you know, restore our deities. And so that's what, you know, and that was what had to be. That was what had to be. They had to restore what the people, you know, was asking for. And so restore Egypt after a minor chaos, master military strategist, you see. And so and you got to see that was his, you know, his son was Ramesses II, which is considered to be the greatest pharaoh in all of ancient Egypt. And so right there, that show you Seti right there. And when you look at, you know, even when you go into Karnak and you look at the hypostyle hall, you look at these columns that's in there 77 feet tall. This is the one of the great wonders of the world. You feel me? And even in the Valley of the Kings, where, you know, Seti I, his tomb was the most elaborate out of all the tombs in the Valley of the King. So this good brother laid down some great works and raised up the greatest, you see, that ever did it. You know, Ramesses II. And so we give honor to all our great pharaohs. You see, we honor them. 8, Narmer, Menes, yeah, well, number 1. Cannot argue with that one. You can't argue with that. It wouldn't be no Kemet if it wasn't for Narmer uniting the two, upper and lower Egypt. Okay, Ethiopia and Kemet founded the first dynasty, established kingship itself. Okay, he established, but the kingship was there. You see, he established, but you know, the dynastic, you know, structure of what would later become Kemet, you know, he did that. He's, you know, and so when the king's list is counted, he is number 1. When you go to Abydos, he is number 1. And so we honor Narmer. You know, we honor him with all, because he established a military establishment. He put his foot down, you know. He brought the lands together, you know, and brought it under one rule. And this is actually the first nation on the planet for real that, you know, that you could see. You know, you could go back. Yeah, we can go back into Ethiopia, but that's more in the midst of time. But when we talk about sealed in the stone, the way it's visible and it's established, you know, with overwhelming artifacts and evidence, then it is Narmer, who is the first established king and ruler of ancient Kemet. Number 9, Khafre. Khafre, which is the son of Khufu, Dynasty 4, builder of the second pyramid at Giza. Can I argue with that? He got to be there. When you build, I mean, his pyramid was a little less than his father. Not by much, not by much, not by much. And he probably could have built bigger, but he didn't want, I mean, you can't do that to the old dude. You feel what I'm saying? Khufu was the, you know, the supreme deity of that bloodline. You feel me? So nobody was going to outdo him, you know. And so he kept his, you know, slightly smaller than his father's pyramid. You see, they say lightly commissioned the great Sphinx, strong divine kingship imagery, guardian of Giza. And so, you know, I have no argument with Khafre being in the top 10. It must be in 10. You got Dynasty 6, Pepi II, longest reign in human history. Okay, 90 plus years. Whoa. His reign marks the end of the old kingdom, power so vast it destabilized the system. You see, power so vast it destabilized the system. the king whose longevity broke in age. You see, so he lived so long in his power. You understand what I'm saying? They say it broke the system, it destabilized the system, and so we're gonna have to tap into Pepi. Now, I know there could have been some honorable mentions. It could be some, you got Thutmose the First, who expelled the Hyksos. The Hyksos founded the new kingdom. A lot of people can put Akhenaten in there, and whether we believe in what he did, his mark on history is just profound. So nobody's gonna not remember his mark on history. He's one of the most famous people in all of history. So I mean, he does get honorable mention. Then you got Tahaka, Nubian pharaoh who fought with Assyria, and then you got Amenhotep. You got Amenhotep, and so it's some other pharaohs that could have been called, because you're talking about 3,000 years. You're talking about 76 powerful, and it was more than 76, but you talking about on the Abydos Kings list, only 76 great pharaohs made it. So out of that 76, you can most definitely you'll find it hard to get a top 10 or top 20 together, because so many of them did so many great things that you want to honor them all. So we appreciate, and like I said, I'm gonna have a series where we're gonna break them down one by one, all the great pharaohs of ancient Egypt. It's gonna be powerful. It's gonna be right here, General Seti, Pharaohs Seti. So y'all already know. Tap in, stay tapping in. Get over there to Patreon. We got that file for you over there. Let me tap back in to my comments. I had to stay in on this truth. Thank you, family. I appreciate y'all. We coming right black. Don't you go nowhere. We got some more fire coming right up. Tap into Patreon, kingseti.com, and check me in a second. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Boom. Black power.